Text me and I'll text you back.
Text me and I'll text you back.
Text me and I'll text you back.
You text me then I'll text you back.
Text me then I'll text you back.
TikTok, you don't stop.
I will help you make your paper stack.
Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at now?
205-964-5243. You know. 205-964-5243. Now you know.
Hey.
Oh.
Hey, that's a whole jam right there now.
No 180 in the house.
Text you back. Y'all heard it. Text me and text you back.
Oh boy. Thanks to my man Tess Jackson again. He put that together in just a short time frame, which I gave him the idea and who he wanted to mimic. Yeah, so we're here for show number 180. Got the full house, Adria and Renikia, both of the lovely young ladies here to make this happen. We're here to answer your questions about real estate investing with an emphasis on wholesaling real estate where your cash or credit doesn't matter. What?
It's just delayed.
Oh, okay. No, we good. I think we're good. And so before we get started, make sure you like this and share it. Make sure you like it and share this. But before we get started, a couple of things I want to mention. I got sent this link earlier today on this new app called Hi-Ho. And basically, it's similar. I guess it would be similar to Clubhouse, but basically it would be more in a video format where I may say, post something in a statement or something, and people just comment and or ask questions and I can reply, you can reply, but it just goes back and forth. So it's called Hi-Ho, H-I-H-O. Just go to the App Store. I don't think it's on Android right now or whatever, but that's what someone told me. So yeah, go there. You look for me, Ask Flip Man. You got any questions after this or anytime, just go there and share your question. You'll help someone else because a lot of times people have the same questions. Also, that's Hi-Ho. If you're not sure what I'm, just text me at 205-964-5243. I'll be glad to send you the link. The other thing, and I'm telling anyone that will listen, I was going to mention to Adria, but I think I already mentioned it to you, but I'm going to say it in more format and let you know how serious I'm about it. I've been aware of cryptocurrency probably since 2014, 15. And I actually pulled out I found a calculator. I'm assuming it's correct. If you would have invested $500 in Bitcoin back in, we'll say I think it was 2013, the calculator I was looking at. So not quite, no, I'm sorry, it was 2011. It was 2011. So 10 years ago, $500 would be worth over $100 million right now if you just didn't do anything. $500. If you didn't do anything.
100 million?
100 is like 104, I think.
Really?
Yes. Yes. Now I had heard that before, so like I said, I searched around again. I'm to be corrected, but I did a little research and I put it in this particular calculator. That's how much it'll be worth now if you invested back in 2011 or whatever. So that was 10 years ago. I wasn't aware of it 10 years ago, or maybe a few years later. So what Tyrone is doing, I just have money sitting places, not doing anything for rent. And not that I'm just filthy rich. I got a little change or whatever, but it's basically most of it will be over into some form of crypto because I just started investing in it March 6th, and I'm already up 22%.
Wow.
And that's with the dips and flows of it because it moves fast. It'll dip but when it dips, I just buy more. I want it to dip because I want to buy more because I know it's going back to that high that I bought it at and higher or where it was previously. So that's my investing tip for today. Also, this is how confident I am in it. Any of my products, right, that I sell, services as far as the stuff, not the deal and all that, because I don't control that. But my courses, now I got an ebook promotion running on Facebook, but that's different. But if my direct ebook, if you buy from flipman.net or anything like that, before you buy it, or if you want coaching, I will automatically give you a 25% discount. If you hit me up, I'll give you another way of paying. You don't have to pay it in a cryptocurrency format. I just have to send it through a certain channel so I can convert it into crypto or whatever. That's how comfortable I am at and confident in it with me. So just hit me up and I'll let you know what's available on that. So over to you, Adria, off my soapbox.
All right.
No, that's good. No.
I heard it, cryptocurrency, but I think that calculator is accurate. It's mind blowing how much that investment would have turned around in that short period of time. But how much is it like a share for right now? It's like $52,000. Like
it's up to 63,000.
63,000
yeah.
per
coin, but you can just buy just whatever money you put in. If it goes up 10%, your money goes up 10%, even if it's just $100.
Yeah.
Right.
It goes down 10%, same thing or whatever. So you have to just be prepared for the ebb and flows. But I've been doing a lot of research on it, and this one guy I've been really following. I know what he's talking about, and he said over the last 10 years it's averaged doubling. I mean, going up 200% every 6 months. That's what it's averaged over the last 10 years now. And he's a billionaire, the guy that I've been listening to. And he said that just basically, I'll just say in a nutshell, he's worth about our whole outfit is worth about, we'll say $5.5 billion or whatever. He said 5 billion of it is in crypto and Bitcoin, basically, and maybe a couple of others. And only 50 million is in cash. And on top of that, like Elon Musk, with the guy, the Tesla guy or whatever, now they accept payment as far as if you want to purchase a Tesla, they accept Bitcoin as a purchasing option. And they're not going to turn it into cash. They're just going to let it sit there because of the growth of it. So in reality, you pay them, well, it allows them to allow their money to grow faster than just sitting in cash or whatever. So whatever. So anyway.
Well, what about altcoins?
I hadn't researched that. The ones that I'm in right now, because there are quite a few of them, is Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Ethereum. Those are the three that I'm investing. I'm getting the most return on Ethereum right now. So
okay. And that was a question from David. He said XRP, Dodge, and Engine.
Yeah, those are some. I'm going to look into the XRP or whatever in the next day or two or whatever. Put some money there, I'm thinking, or whatever. But I'm in those three right now. So.
All right, guys, there you have it. Started off with some financial investing tips. What you can, with what you can, how you can. Choose how you're going to use those wholesaling dollars.
It just started. It doesn't matter what the amount you start out with. You know what I'm saying? Whatever is considered your savings, I would recommend putting a portion of that into. So do your own research. I don't know everything. I'm as green as it's possible to be, but I was comfortable enough to put a decent amount of money into it already, and probably going to do it ain't no problem. I'm going to do it on a weekly basis, just basically transferring most of my stuff into that format, instead of just sitting in a bank account somewhere, not doing basically anything.
Gaining less than 2%.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky on that. All right, guys.
And if you want to join us live, the simple way to do it now, you can still go to flippinar.com and do it. But if you text me the word Gator to 205-964-5243, I'll send you the link, and that'll get you on. You can ask your question, get pushed to the front of the line. So,
all right, we already have Miss Marty waiting there, but we're gonna just give us a second, Miss Marty. I see you there. As Ty mentioned, we do have the beautiful Miss Renikia with us. This is show number 180. Yes, fast approaching 200. Wow, yeah, we've been doing this thing for a minute. So thank you guys for joining us. This is the place where you ask your questions in regards to wholesaling real estate with little to no cash or credit, and we answer them absolutely. Renikia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. Looking good as always. And guys, on their screen there, if you can see on YouTube and Periscope, you have fundmynextdeal.com. We'll go into that a little bit later, but that's how you can reach Renikia. She's available across all social media platforms as well. First and last name, Renikia Williams. Again, that's fundmynextdeal.com. All right, guys, let's go ahead and just jump right into this thing. I want to give some shout out to Blaze 8, LR. Let's see here. Darnell, Ricardo, I see you, David, and Sharon. Thank you for all joining us. And don't forget, Ty said you can join us at flippinar.com or either text Gator to the number that you see on your screen. But we're going to go ahead and start with Miss Marty. She jumped right in this thing. Yeah, I see you. And there she is. Uh-oh, wait a minute. No, there we go. Hey, Miss Marty, how you doing today?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, how are you? I'm good, thank you. What a surprise.
Well, thank you for joining us. You got a question for us this evening?
No, I'm just
hanging out.
here. Just hanging out.
All right, that's cool too.
That's cool. I'll put you down. If you have a question, just wave at me. I'll see you and I'll bring you back on, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for being here tonight.
Okay.
All right, guys. Okay, so jumping right into this thing. Al says, what's up, Tyraniki and Adria? Blaze 8 says, yo. But Blaze 8 has the first question of the night, and I'm glad this is this question.
Get that, Adria. Get that.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. Look at here. Okay, so what is wholesaling? Explain what wholesaling is.
Oh my.
Right. This is a really green question, but all questions are accepted.
Ground zero.
Ground zero. So great place to start, Blaze 8. You're starting somewhere. So in a nutshell, what is it?
Well, I can start it off. I mean, I guess to simplify it, I'm pretty sure Ty probably has a really amazing definition of it, but I'll simplify it just from my understanding. Wholesaling to me is the ability to purchase a product. I mean, our product could just happen to be real estate at a significantly discount and be able to assign that contract, or in our cases, be able to assign that contract to an end buyer at a higher price. But,
yeah, it's what she said. It's basically finding a great real estate deal.
Camera was on me the whole freaking time.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh wow.
Well, there you go.
No,
All right. So it's basically you find a great real estate deal. All real estate deals start with a contract, no matter it's a $10,000 property or a $10 million property. You place it under contract. A purchase and sales agreement is what it's called, right? And in order for that to be attractive to cash buyers, it needs to be a great deal. So you're basically going to sell your rights to close on that deal, to purchase that property to an actual buyer that has the money. So that's why your cash or credit doesn't matter. So you'll have one contract with the seller for X number, and you'll have another contract with your buyer at a higher number. So normally that's a 4, 5, sometimes 6-figure difference. So that's why it can be so lucrative, but also it could be something that pretty much anyone can do if they want to put the time and effort into it. Now, like with anything, it ain't for everybody, but anybody can do it. So if that makes sense or whatever, there are no real barriers to entry. Money is not a barrier to entry. Credit is not a barrier to entry. So only thing now is more or less effort. Now, having a few $100 can push the process along faster, but it's not necessary to start and be successful, because all you need to do is close one deal, which is normally, as I said, it's going to be a 4-figure, a lot of times 5-figure payday, and that normally can shoot you to the moon. So hopefully I explained it where it makes sense.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. We have Titan McFalling. Yeah, I think he's ready. We're going to go ahead and have you join us. Here we go. Hey, Titan, how are you?
What's going on, y'all?
Nothing much. Thank you for joining us tonight. You have a question?
Yeah. Flip man, what's going on? It's the box man here. I finally get to see.
What's happening? This is the man that works for the company that they produce boxes for Amazon.
Oh wow. Billions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I finally get to be on or see one of y'all lives. I finally get to see one of y'all lives like unsolicited, like when I can actually focus and I ain't at work, you know. But I was telling y'all about the deal that we had at the beginning, And I'm trying to figure out, like, we got into a point where the closing, everything was good. The buyer was ready. The seller was ready. But the seller knew that her house had got sold at the auction the year before. Like, how is that?
Wow.
How was that? Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I cut you off. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, all right. So a little slight little kind of a backstory. So the cash buyer that we had, he was basically, me and my wife. We was doing all our due diligence, but we was brand new, so we didn't really know about the whole dealulator and all of these other things. So when it was time to close, the buyer was like, "Hey, listen, we only got like a couple of days to get this done because this house was sold at auction last year, and she only has a couple of days to come pay whatever she had to pay to get the house." So he was like, the title company said the title was dirty still, or whatever the case is, but we can get it done, but we only got like a week. So come to find out, that week was only like 2 days. So she had got cold feet, and I brought it to her. I was like, "Hey, you still got some back taxes that you need to pay or whatever." It was sold at an auction. And he was like, well, let's get it done. Day of closing, the title company was like, "Nope, we can't get it done because we can't clear the title."
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was about to say, is that once the title company got involved, they were going to know as soon as that title come back that she didn't own it anymore or whatever. So I'm assuming it never got to you all trying to set up a closing or anything, because the title company informed you that, hey, this lady doesn't own this, right? Am I following you?
Yeah, exactly. But see, we didn't know how to figure all of that out prior to even giving it to our cash buyer.
Well, like I say, you wasn't aware. Well, in most cases, you said a year ago. In most cases, by then, the county would have updated the rest. Some of them take longer. Normally, they do it within a year for sure. So once you search either the county website, it would have shown that her name wasn't on as ownership. The tax bill wasn't going to her anymore. So, but you said that was before you all knew about PropStream and all this stuff or whatever. So, so that you would have figured that out early on. It's just one of those things where you all just didn't have the experience to sort of wilt that out, immediately or whatever. Did you ever ask her, did she owe anything on the property?
Yeah, she basically was saying, "No, my mom left me the house. It's free and clear." And I think the mom had just passed away or something to that extent, and all that other stuff.
Okay. Well, yeah. Go ahead, Renika. That's just one of them inexperienced things, man.
Man.
I think you said it right. I mean, that type of stuff you won't really know up front. But once you begin to pull title and things of that nature, I mean, it's gonna pop up. So it's just one of those things. You deal with it once it do hit you, and you just deal with it from there. But basically, once you all did pull title, realize that they didn't own the property, and I just one of those scenarios. Now you can try to find out if you can purchase it from the city and county.
See, but
if they own it, or who owns it at this point?
see,
Someone bought it.
someone bought it at a tax auction.
Okay. Well, you can always follow up with them and see if they're willing to sell it. I mean, of course, they're gonna want to, sell it at a, with a profit on top of it. But you never know.
I guess the question is it in each state is different on how they handle tax lien, tax deeds, tax certificates. Is it in a situation where it's still redeemable?
No. So, all right. So, because I'm in South Carolina, so when the house gets sold at the tax auction, this is from my understanding. I might be wrong. I can be corrected. But from my understanding, when the house gets sold at the tax auction, the person only pays whatever back taxes is left on the house. So the person who owes the back taxes, they have a year to come pay whatever that person at the auction paid. And then if she paid, she get the house back. If not, the house goes to whoever paid whatever taxes. So it got to be owned by the person who paid the taxes.
How long has it been? It's been over a year?
The crazy thing about it, it was 367 days.
That's a year.
Yep. Right.
Sometimes
Right.
a year they but they have to go through. They still got to go through the quiet title to get full possession of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got to go through the quiet title, pretty much the foreclosure process to get full possession of it, though.
So is that something a cash buyer would probably want to get into? If I come back to him and I be like, hey, I reached out to the person who bought it at the auction, and they possibly, you know, will still sell it, but you know, the numbers are going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Some will want to pursue it. It depends on how attractive of a deal it is. Again, the person that bought the tax deed or whatever, that's the person you got to go through, though. That the lady that you were dealing with sounds like she's outside of her redemption period. You know, she's out of it. It's over with for her. So you would have to target the individual that, you know, bought the tax deed or whatever. If you want to still pursue it, I probably wouldn't. But you know, offers are free. I did, you know, I changed out of that shirt, but offers are free. So you never know. But you know, I know I would probably just move on or whatever.
And that's what I was about to say. At this point, I'm on some, because I know you always say, hey, you just one deal away. I'm just on some, let's keep it going, let's move on. And it's something else out there I already know, because I'm just, yeah. Like I say, I be all at work, you know what I'm saying, on Prop Stream and all this other stuff. Straight up. And I be on y'all lives, you know, I be on every one of them. But I'm gonna let y'all go. But I got one last question. I know you were saying about the 25% off for everything, but I don't think you offer a service. I'm having a hard time with batch leads. Is that something you'll do, like a one-on-one training or coaching?
Well, what I can do, I can get someone that works with them to give you special attention. How about that?
Okay.
Right, so just text me, and and I can. What's your name again?
It's Titan, Titan.
Okay, I remember. That's right. Yeah, just reach out to me, and I'll get someone to work with you specifically on that.
All right, that sounds like a plan. I appreciate y'all taking my live. Y'all have a great night. I'm still be watching.
All right, that's what's up, man. Thank you.
All right. Y'all too.
All right.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Titan, for joining us. It's just that easy, people. Flippinar.com, or either text Gator to 205-964-5243, and Ty will send you the link to join us. Now, let me skip over here to, I think this is TikTok. I'm confused. Says, so Brooklyn says, I found a fire damaged property. I have the seller on the hook. What do I do now? Let's answer first. What are the things we should be looking at for a fire damaged property? Cheap as possible?
Well, it's still just repairs. You know, just depending on how extensive the fire damage was. When you say you got the seller on the hook, I'm assuming you mean they're interested in selling. So now you all need to sell on a price. So like I said, it just depends on how big the house is, how extensive was the damage. Just smoke damage, did it go through the ceiling or go through the floor? Was one part of it burnt off? You know, all of that will factor in, because now you'll have to get into maybe just a total demolition, and it just becomes just a lot or whatever, or raw land or whatever. So those questions will sort of have to be answered on how extensive is the fire damage.
All right. One second. I'm losing my users. Okay, so we'll just go over here. So Renikia, oftentimes when our listeners come on and they ask a question in regards to what should I do with the property, and then you go on to explaining that they should know what their exit strategy is. So Al Wimberly says, when it comes to choosing what type of exit strategy, what are some of the main factors that are involved? So how do you choose whether this is something you need to wholesale, buy and hold, subject to, on the finance, same thing, or how do you make those decisions?
That's a really great question. I think the property itself makes those decisions. So when you run your numbers, I think your numbers dictate if it's a good flip or is it a good buy and hold. So I think the numbers really dictate if it's a good deal or not. So you just got to know your numbers. You got to know how much you're purchasing it for, how much rehab is needed in direct correlation to what is the after repair value. You may get a $50,000 property that is, at its value, but is a great buy and hold. So I think it's just the property itself determines if you're going to hold it or you're going to flip it. So in order to understand your exit strategy, you want to understand your deal as a whole. You want to understand if there's equity in this property, and most likely if there's not a lot of equity in that property, that's not a flip. So it really determines itself. So if there's not a lot of equity in the property, it's definitely not a flip. And sometimes if there's not a lot of equity in the property, and you're at, kind of purchasing at retail, that may be a buy and hold, it may not. I mean, personally, I wouldn't buy and hold a $500,000 property. I wouldn't buy and hold a $250,000 property, because my cash flow, because my loan, my monthly payment, you gotta, when you determine if it's a great buy and hold, you have to determine how much is your loan monthly payment in direct correlation to the amount of rent that you can get. If my loan is $1,000 a month and I'm making $900 a month, that's not a good buy and hold either. So allow your numbers to determine what your exit strategy is.
All right. Roland 227 says, thank you for the information. He says, hey, Flipman. And I'm only mentioning Roland because I want to say this as a blanket statement. He says, well, I found out some of the advice you give is illegal, or either my auntie is lying, or either my aunt is a liar. So let me say this. There's nothing on this show that we discuss or advise or give information about that it has not been tested and deemed to be tried and true. There's nothing that Ty or Renikia advises use of methods or strategies or ways to go about wholesaling that they have not done on their own. So then you have to think, Roland, you're here to educate yourself, and you're listening to individuals who've done this. You have listeners who've, commented that this is worked for them and this has helped and this is happening in their areas. And then you have your aunt.
Let me answer that.
Has she ever hosted?
let me answer that. All right. He said his aunt is a liar.
He said, or
it doesn't mean she's a liar. It means she doesn't know what she's talking about. Those could be the same thing, and they could be different things. In this situation, I'm going to side on she doesn't know what she's talking about, right? So go back and ask your aunt just this. When we close on these transactions, we get our checks. We are sitting down with reputable title companies that deal with real estate agents, regular people, whatever. We're sitting down with attorneys. Ask your aunt, since we're doing it, this is so illegal. Do you think that those individuals are putting their livelihoods in jeopardy for me? I'm nobody, right? Are they putting their livelihood, how they're feeding their family, how they're paying their bills if this is illegal? That's all you got to ask her. She's going to be like, well, they probably in on it. Okay. Okay, next question.
Next.
And most importantly, the wholesale concept is real.
Yeah.
Our product is just real estate, but Walmart wholesale, half the things on Walmart shelves, they wholesaling it from another vendor. So understand this is just a wholesale strategy. I don't care what your product is. You can wholesale your car, you can wholesale anything. So all we're doing is taking that wholesale strategy and applying it to purchase and selling real estate, which is not an illegal act at all.
Basically, that's what Amazon is.
That's what Amazon is. Amazon don't own any of the products on their site, but they selling it through them. They're wholesaling everything.
Yeah. If you think the price that you pay a retailer for an item is the same price that the retailer pays the manufacturer for the item.
Well, in a lot of cases, the retailer is not paying anything. Especially when you talk about Walmart and Amazon, right. They may have their brands that they produce, but for the most part, most of the products in there, they didn't spend any money on. They just providing the shelf space or the website in order for me to place my product on the shelf. They didn't pay me for it. I'm just placing it on the shelf, and they just getting a percentage of the transaction along with the fees they charge on top of it or whatever. Exactly. That's what Amazon. It's the same thing.
And
I
it's the
find
same
a house-
concept as drop shipping. If you
Yeah.
think wholesaling is wrong, you'll think drop shipping is illegal too,
Oh, yeah.
because a lot of people are promoting products that they don't own nor have purchased it. So once you purchase that product, they'll purchase a product from China and send it to you. It's the same concept.
Oh yeah, people will do this. They'll find something that's discounted on, which is drop shipping, discounted on Walmart.com, or just go into a store or whatever, and take a picture and put it on Amazon because it's selling or higher, or vice versa.
Exactly.
And they don't buy it until you buy it. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing.
The same thing. Don't overcomplicate it.
That's it. Byron Scott has a good response to that. The doubt only slows up the progress. I doubted for 2 years before starting and making 100,000 less than a year. I probably should have made $1 million by now if you wasn't doubting the process.
And all we're doing is selling our contractual interests, which you have the right to do.
All right. A lot of you guys ask, when you go to a seller, should you explain to them that you're a wholesaler? This is why you don't. This is the prime example. It's too complicated.
Yeah, because you're gonna have people like my man's aunt that they just ain't gonna get it or whatever. Just like you're here, and most of you all have spent hours trying to understand this stuff, and you still have questions. Imagine trying to explain this to a property owner in 5 minutes. They're not going to want to deal with you, not because you're trying to scam them. They're just not familiar with what you're talking about. And when most people are not comfortable with a process that they're not familiar with, they're not going to want to do business. You can do it. You can go explain to everybody you talk to wholesaling. I can assure you, you'll find something else to do.
Breathe.
Do that and get back with me. Let me know how that works out for you.
Don't let people talk you out of your way.
Doesn't matter where the money comes from, right?
Exactly.
You know, if you get money from the bank, that's still not your money.
Right.
That makes it better.
Right. And people project on you what they don't understand.
All right, guys, there we have it.
Most of the money, I ain't gonna say most, but a lot of money is made on what others, what the normal people either don't know or not willing to do.
Exactly.
And by the time they do, it's too much money that's already been made.
Yeah. All the money been made. Y'all keep thinking.
All right.
Keep thinking about it.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this contract. What do they text to the number to get the one-page contract?
Contract.
Text contract to 205-964-5243. 205-964-5243. Now you know. Yeah, that jingle. That's it.
You killed it, Dutch.
Kenneth Sargent wants to know, Flipman, this one-page contract that we're talking about, can it be used in the state of Texas as the purchase and sale contract?
Most definitely.
All right. There you have it, Kenneth Sargent, and that's how you can get that one-page contract to use for wholesaling. So D. Renee has a good question. Hey, how does it work with an out-of-town seller in closing? Do they need to be at the title company on closing day? I'm going to see a fire damaged property tomorrow, and this is the situation. So out-of-town sellers, they don't have to be where you are. You have notaries for that.
Yep.
Acknowledging.
It's called an out-of-state closing. So all you have to do is let your attorney know that the buyer or the seller, which one of the parties are out of state. And it's called out-of-state closing. What they're going to do is make sure whoever, if they have a corresponding attorney where they are, or they will schedule a notary to come to where they are to be able to sign off on those and wet ink, and they're going to overnight those documents back to the closing attorney. So when they're out of state, they're just going to correspond with a attorney, or they're going to just hire a notary to meet them somewhere to sign off on those documents.
All right. Let's see here. So Chris Brown, and this is from TikTok, wants to know, do I have to have, here it goes, dun, 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 a realtor present to have my contract signed? No. Cut that portion out. Like, no. Don't overcomplicate it. No realtor.
Exactly.
Only person that needs to be present when you have your contract signed is going to be you and the seller, then you and the buyer. That's it.
And you don't have to even be in each other's face. They have this thing called email.
What's
that?
They call this thing called e-signatures. One of the companies is DocuSign, as she said.
Boy, y'all
beautiful, boy.
Technology.
These tools are powerful, man. Use them.
Right. I mean, and a lot of people think a real estate agent must be involved to transact real estate, and you do not have to have a license nor an agent to transact real estate.
All right. So let's go here. Little Pump wants to know, when starting out, how do you deal with sellers asking for references from other sellers? Do they do that? Is that a okay seller? Can I see your portfolio?
I may have had that happen one time, but normally if you're getting that question, it would be so shocking if it's a deal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get all kind of stuff people saying, but normally talking crazy like that, in my opinion, or whatever. Well, let me back up. You'll get people. They'll be a little apprehensive. Let me back up. You'll get, even though they're motivated to sell, you'll ask people. They'll ask you what your company name is. If you don't have a company, your name. Hey, I'm just a regular guy, got a little money. I'm just trying to buy a couple of houses this year.
Exactly.
Or whatever. And you have a website. No, I'm technically challenged. What? You know what I'm saying?
I'm a private buyer. You can be a private buyer. You don't have to have a whole website to buy and sell real estate for your own personal portfolio.
No.
Private buyer.
Yeah, you'll get some strange questions. They can even be giving you.
But something like that, say no problem, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's no different from the references for jobs that you don't quite have, but you have someone to give you a reference. Yeah. So hey, get it, make it work.
Hey, that all you need? That all you need to sell this house to me for 50?
Right. Hey, that's all you need. No problem. I got plenty. How many you want to talk to? Plenty. I done bought and sold all types of real estate. Comes if you want to speak to my references, So make it happen. Make it happen.
Make it happen. That's all we're gonna say about that.
Ty, I do have a question for you. It's not a question, it's more of a statement. Ty, I need $500,000 in a deal to buy my retirement home in Florida. What do I need to do? Love, Shannon.
Who is that?
Your brother.
Oh, my brother.
Wow, that was like a personal question.
Oh, you're real funny. Okay.
Okay. Leave me alone, bro. He heard you cryptoing out here.
I sent him the link to Coinbase, and then get all this money out of his current occupation.
Right.
And Coinbase, let it grow 200% over every 6 months. There you go. Now
I feel obligated to ask that. We'll talk off screen about that Florida home.
Oh boy, that's hilarious.
All right.
Well, what reason he probably followed? Because I've never posted. I've never put this stuff on my actual Facebook profile. So people that follow me, it's just still all the Flip Man stuff or whatever. So he probably got the feed or whatever. So he thought he'd be. TikTok. Oh, he's on TikTok.
He's on TikTok.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I stand corrected.
Yeah,
Shannon Taylor, I stand corrected.
Ooh, not the whole.
Well, that's what we, we got the same mom and dad.
I don't know what to That's all right. That Florida home will be on VRBO. You can rent it out for a season if you need it.
Oh, yes. He'll have it available.
Gonna make money off that. That's all right. So Jeff Pina has a good question here. So spring season is here. The sun is staying out longer. Would 8:30 be too late to text people? So what's the roundabout rule for texting, calling potential sellers? 8 o'clock?
I would say 8:30 would be too late. I'm gonna say cutoff should be around 7:30. If you are playing along the same time zone, time zones can be different, but normally you're texting people in the same time zone that the properties that you're targeting. So I'm gonna say 7:30. Really. Now you can beat Gator and do 8:30. I'm just saying 7:30. I don't know. It's like I don't know what the laws are on that, but I know 7:30 will meet that number. I'm pretty confident on that.
Yeah, I'm confident 7:30 will, but I think there is some FCC probably rule about not calling after certain time. It's like don't call when the family's at the dinner table. You know, you're gonna get shut down. You're interrupting family time or whatever. So this question, Renikia, is gonna be for you. So Quint Lee, I hope that's Quint. On your funding site in the unsecured funding section, one of the requirements is 30% credit card utilization. Is that per card or 30% utilization on all cards combined? And for those that may not know, what exactly would Clint need this for? What is he doing?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that layup. But it is 30% of all cards combined. And of course, lenders still will look at your individual utilization, but it's really all of them combined. So long as you're within 30% of all of your credit limits combined, you'll be good. And what he's speaking about is gap funding. Gap funding is a product that we utilize to offset some of your expenses or to, be able to buy the tools that you need in order to really jumpstart your wholesale business or offset down payments or offset closing costs and things of that nature, where you can leverage your credit to get unsecured credit up to $150,000. So you'll be able to offset those expenses that are associated with you just doing your wholesale business or associated with you if you're ready to start fixing and flipping or buying and holding.
All right. Okay. So guys, there you have it, the gap funding. And to get access to that, go to fundmynextdeal.com. And we'll put that up before we end out tonight as well. But Quint, hopefully that gets your question answered. I did not skip. I bump around and make sure I do them in process and that they flow, whatever. Let me do this. Okay. So next question, Ty, it was from a TikTok user that says, is using PropStream for free. So PropStream is the affiliate program Ty is associated with. We use dealulator.com. You do have 5 free days of use of the service, but there is a monthly subscription fee. So that's something for you to decide, how serious are you about this wholesaling thing? That maybe Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Disney Plus combined subscriptions versus dealulator.com. So, it's up to you, but you do have the opportunity to use it for 5 days for free to see how big of a tool this would be to your wholesaling war chest. And you can go to dealulator.com to check that out. Hopefully that answered your question there.
Yeah, and make sure you watch the have a couple of videos there, but definitely the top 10 video, top trading ways to use it. Watch that video before you sign up for it, because you want to at least be familiar with how to use it. The worst thing you can do is get in there and don't know how to use it. So, boom.
All right. Jay's got Dane says, it's nice to see you, Mr. Flip Plan. A. Quincy said, yo. And Mike Johnston waves. Thank you guys for joining us and listening. Make sure you go ahead and post your questions. And do not forget, you can go to flippinar.com to join us live and ask your own question, or text the word Gator to the number shown on your screen to join us live tonight. So Cameron White says, when driving for dollars, what is the best way to reach out? Direct mail or text to flip?
Well, initially, if you can get a phone number for them, text messaging is going to be the fastest way or whatever. And then I would do direct mail, either if you don't get a response or whatever. So, so just, you always want to try to use the phone. Well, really, you want to try to call them and then maybe text them and then direct mail, actually.
All right. There you have it.
Because when you're driving for dollars, you're really talking about a small number of people in reality. A list, even if it was 100, that's considered a small number or whatever. So.
Okay. So Mr. Rodriguez says, what percent of market value would you offer on a probate high equity property that's in good condition? Is there a formula for that?
No, I guess he's just still the formula, I guess that's what he's asking. It's still the same thing. The equity got to be there. I don't care if it's $1 million property or a $100,000 property. the equity still got to be there and make sense. The calculator on my site, dearlater.com, you know, it still will be relevant with the pricing. The only time that calculator really is not going to work well when you start getting in properties in the $60,000 and $50,000 range. That sort of goes out the window because you can have repairs to exceed that or whatever. So now that's normally just going to be a buy and hold play anyway. So or whatever. So it doesn't matter about the cost of the house. If the equity is there and it can be negotiated, you can capture a great deal of that. It won't matter. You know, the numbers will still work the same.
All right. Mr. Matoot 7 wants to know what happens if a transaction makes it into escrow, but then the end buyer cancels the transaction based on his 14 days inspection period. Does the escrow charge the parties anything?
I mean, the end buyer has to put up earnest money, so he should forfeit his earnest money at the minimum.
But they're saying if he cancels it before the 14 days, though. Number one, I'm not going to.
The due diligence thing?
Yeah, if they cancel it, I'm not going to give them that long. But even if
Yeah. Don't ever give anyone 14 days.
No.
Hey, they're gonna take all yeah, that's too long for an investor. Way too long. I mean, a regular homeowner probably would want 10, 14 days. I mean, that's normal, but for an investor, no.
But even if there was 3 days and they canceled on the second day, then yeah, they'll get their money back. But the reason you only give them 3 days so you can go out and find somebody else.
Exactly.
But their second question was if they canceled it. Now they're the ones that hired the title company or whatever. Then they're going to be the ones that's going to be responsible for that. But if it's your outfit, then unless you're a dealer, though, you're still not really responsible for it until you don't. If you can't produce a buyer, you have to cancel the contract with the seller or whatever. So it just depends on who initiated that, you know, that work to be done. I guess I hope I'm answering the question.
And I wouldn't necessarily go into title to somewhere after that due diligence is over. I mean, you can submit it over, but I don't think you should start until everything is solid and that due diligence period is up and that buyer is truly committed. Because they do have the ability to back out, and you do owe them the earnest money. If they back out, they don't owe you anything other than that cancellation. So, you know, just be mindful of not starting that title work, you know, too early, that can accumulate a bill without you even closing on the property.
All right. I will say I haven't seen this question, and I'm glad I see it. And it's in regards to, I guess, an exit strategy. If your exit strategy was to buy and hold. So the question is from Jose Holmes: do you prefer Section 8 renters or traditional renters? Is there a preference? And if there is, why?
I mean, that's a really good question. And I think a lot of you know, buy and hold investors, you know, has a preference, but I would say this. I mean, Section 8 is guaranteed money, and that's one of the reasons why investors go with the Section 8 or don't mind going with the Section 8 because they know every month that government is going to pay that bill on time. They're not looking for it. It's not late. It's on time. And usually the Section 8 pays about 7 to 80%, and then the real tenant owes the difference. And also I noticed on Section 8 that sometimes you can get more rent by going Section 8 than you can just going with a traditional private tenant. Also, a lot of people shy away from Section 8 tenants just because they just think that they're going to tear up your property. But one thing one thing I know for a fact, and that people should understand that they have these vouchers, and you as a landlord can always complain regarding that tenant. And if you make such a complaint, they can actually lose their voucher. So that gives them that makes them want to do right by, you know, taking care of your property as well. So it's really a preference. And I think every investor kind of, you know, is kind of, you know, either way, but I know there are some good benefits of having a Section 8 tenant.
So
What
I
do you
would
think?
say there are probably some really good benefits as you just explained there, but maybe there's a stigma that comes with
It's a stigma. It is a stigma.
like,
Exactly what that is.
their, the demographics normally, or the status, economic status, or,
Mhm.
you begin to assume the type of individuals that would have these vouchers, and,
Exactly.
you have to get over that. I think the guaranteed
Mhm.
funding would do, more for me. And maybe it would even, if it came a point where they didn't honor their end, maybe, I'm sure there's a quicker process for eviction versus the traditional renter where they have landlord tenant laws. Probably be a little bit easier to rotate somebody back out of it as well. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have a point of contact that you can contact. So if you have any issues with it, you can always call their point of contact or their representative, and you can make those complaints. I mean, they don't want to lose those vouchers. But it is a stigma. And if you can get past that stigma, it's guaranteed money.
Okay. So we were just talking about the earnest money, and we were talking about escrow. Al Wimberly kind of is adding on to that. He says, when it comes to paying a seller, the earnest money that the seller is asking for, do we pay it up front or at the closing end of the deal? And is that a certain amount that it can be set for it? So I know we say, a dollar makes the agreement binding, a penny makes a contract legal and binding. Whether you give it to them at the time you sign the contract or whether they never see it at all, that's just going to vary on the seller that you're dealing with, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, who holds it, how much is it? It's all negotiated between you and that seller. So it's all negotiated, but it has to be paid up front though. I mean, sometimes, people don't pay it and the seller don't know that it's not been paid. But to really execute your contract, that earnest money should be delivered. Because it pretty much secures the contract when you put that earnest money up. So at some point in time, you don't have to pay it. That's the whole game of getting the end buyer in so they can put up that earnest money to purchase that property. So depending on how you structure your deal, you want to structure it where that end buyer is in place that is putting up that earnest money where you don't have to put up that earnest money.
All right, there you have it. I'm just going to follow up with the listener here. Shannon, Jump 22.
But I think one thing I want to say about that, I think you should never allow your end buyer to not put up earnest money.
Nope.
Always make sure they put up that earnest money because you want to make sure they got that skin in the game and they're going to be willing to commit to what they're saying.
There you have it. What I was saying was,
Jump 22 said.
I was just saying, Shannon, Jump 22. I apologize that you got kicked off, but we did answer your question. If you go back after this video is over and go back about 20 minutes,
I re-answered.
You'll get an answer to
I told him
question.
that he need to take that link I sent him for coin-based crypto and put some of his retirement over in that. He had that $500,000 probably about 2 years.
Okay.
That's what I said.
Not that I said what I said.
He said what he said. And he said it again. Okay.
He on YouTube now. It's on Facebook.
Nah, he's still on TikTok.
TikTok, really?
He's still on TikTok.
They need to get over on YouTube, man. They go to YouTube, do a search for Flippinar. That's sorry.
Oh, wow. I won't read any more of your questions, sir. Okay, so Ron Mack wants to know, what is the best way to acquire a lot of rental properties without using your credit all the time? Wholesaler property, buy property, wholesaler property, buy property.
He said acquire, so he's trying to really take possession.
Yeah, he needs to do a lot of owner finance.
Cash.
You have cash, but a lot of owner finance. You
Cash and owner financing.
You need to transition some tired landlords into individuals that are owner finance. They'll hold a note. They become the bank or whatever.
Don't let credit stop you. Take 30 to 60, 90 days and just fix it. So you can. And most importantly, with our lending, with our rental product, and you do have two-person guarantee, so you do take into consideration your credit, but it doesn't go on your personal credit, it goes into your business name. So that I think one of the strategies is how you can acquire all these properties without really getting a loan on it that has to go on your personal credit. And that's private lending. You know, where you can purchase these properties with no tax returns, bank statements, income verification, or pay stubs, and you can still purchase a limited amount of rental properties. It is credit score driven. However, take some time to fix your credit so you can take advantage of that. But it don't go on your personal credit, go completely in your business name. You know, but if your credit is shot, find a credit partner who can help you take that down, because it doesn't go into anyone's personal credit, it goes on the business credit.
All right. So let's see here. So I think I had Mr. Scott and who says who's wholesaling in Atlanta. Then I have another stroke that says who's wholesaling in Northeast, was that Mississippi? And then yeah, Northeast Mississippi. So okay, guys, guess what you can do? You can go to the Facebook page, Wholesaling Real Estate with the Flipman. There are over how many? It's a lot.
6 sometimes.
Yeah, like 60,000 members on that Facebook group. And if you put that question there, you can possibly partner with someone that is in your area. And you can find out who's flipping in Northeast Mississippi. But we often talk about how can you tell who's wholesaling in your area? And do you see bandit signs? That would be a good start. How else would you be able to contact flippers in your area? Or find out if there are any?
Local real groups, local real estate groups, meetups.
Okay, that most every time input.
Northeast Mississippi, I'm trying to think of what cities are probably large enough, because that gets over to the Alabama line. Northeast Mississippi. A lot of those towns going to be too small for consistent deals. So you may have to seek out virtual wholesaling in those areas if it's where I think it is or whatever. So, but to answer the question, you say you want to find out who the flippers are?
Yeah.
Well, again, assuming you're in a city big enough, and well, you started going, like you said, real groups and meetups. That's where your social media will come in at, because most markets have social media or Facebook group, just using that as an example, groups that are specific to that area, whether it's just real estate investment groups, maybe actual wholesale real estate investment groups with the name of that particular city. So a lot of it just online, just networking on social media, even Instagram. I don't know about Twitter or whatever, but maybe even LinkedIn. You know, those are going to be the easier ways to find out who's who and who's what. Of course, getting out, driving around, see what renovations are going on. Now, I'm trying to give you free ways. Now, if you just use the Digulated PropStream tool or whatever, you can just pull up where cash transactions have happened, and you can see, you know, what's happened, period,
Right.
or whatever, and see who's buying.
Do it backwards. Go find, like you say, you look, drop your dollars and look for property that has been renovated, and you go and get that contact. I mean, you go and skip trace them and find their contact, you know, and see if they want to purchase.
Yep.
And say, yeah.
All right, there you have it, guys. And Kits, that's what that question was just answered. You asked for anybody in Tampa. Says let's link up and get the town shaking. Okay. So James Jack says, can a person get a business loan while retired? Would your personal income, which is your, I guess your work income, be associated with the business loan?
So can I, yeah, I mean, if you retire, I'm assuming you're getting retirement income some type of way, right?
Okay.
So you have to just, you know, utilize the income that you have. A lot of loan products goes by household income as well. So I'm assuming that in within the household, there is income coming in. But a business loan, when you begin to establish business loans and business credit, you will always have the person guarantee it, because your business, if you just started a business, you don't have a track record to even get a business loan. You know, to make a lender comfortable enough to know if you're going to pay that back. So that's why you got to get creatively within that first 1 to 2 years until you get that track record or begin to cash flow. You know, business loans is completely based on cash flow and cash flow of the business. So if your business is not cash flowing, then in order to begin to get business credit, you're going to have to personal guarantee it and use your personal credit to begin to establish business credit.
Okay, James Jett, hopefully that answers your question there. And we're back to the back to a contract question, Ty. Do you use the same contract for your agreement with the seller and your agreement with the buying with the end buyer, or is there another contract we need for disposition side of the deal? So the way we typically say is the same contract. You have a contract for A to B, which is you and the seller. And then you have another copy of that exact same contract that you use for B to C, which is you and the buyer. So you have a contract A to B, B to C, and it's the same thing. It's the same purchase and sell agreement. You're just changing where you're putting your name on the contract.
Assuming that the buyer wants to use my contract. Sometimes they may not. They may have their own contract.
Well, what's wrong with it?
So as long as their terms mirror your terms, it doesn't really matter or whatever. So as long as their terms don't conflict with the terms that you have with the seller. But the video that I have on, which I have a ton of them, but more recent video, it'll show you how to fill it out for sellers and buyers. If you just text the word contract to the 205-964-5243, you know, you'll get that video.
All right, and to get that one-page contract that we're talking about, again, text the word contract to 205-964-5243. It's on your screen there. And for everyone else that's not on YouTube or Facebook, I will put it in the comment section so you have it there as well. If you have not been hip to the new jingle that Ty has, you can pretty much text a lot of one-word text to that number and get a response. You can text contract for the contract. If you want to know what CRM he's using, you can simply text CRM. If you want to, I just drew a blank. What else can they text to the number?
CRM, script, text, TXT, contract, CRM, I said CRM, close. But really just whatever you text them and tell them what you want, I do it. But with those, if you text those specific words, you'll get an immediate response.
Gotcha. So, hey guys, as I said, it's on the screen for those YouTubers and Facebookers, and for TikTok and Instagram, I did place it in the comment section there. So you have it there. Let's see here. So guys, make sure that you hit that like, subscribe, and notify button so that you're notified anytime new content is uploaded across social media platforms. You still have time to do that. We have a light crowd tonight. I'm not particularly sure what's going on, but I'm thankful for each and every one of you guys that have joined us. The next question that I have, Rennie and Ty, you probably have the same, but maybe different. So John Savage wants to know, do you do any digital marketing on social media? So what digital marketing techniques are you using right now?
Well, we run Facebook ads. I do both. I run Facebook ads and Google AdWords. YouTube's also.
Have you noticed that to be beneficial?
Well, you know what? Yes and no. Not as much as it should be, but I'm trying to repair that. We're sitting down, actually going through a lot of the leads that we thought were dead, especially from Facebook. And what we're going to do is a follow-up with some mailers or whatever, because sometimes people send their information over, and then when we reach out to them, they don't respond by text or call or whatever. And so we're just going to, take it to the next step and mail out to people. And there's some of them where they gave us a price that didn't work back then. We're following back up to see if anything's changed in their life, and now they're ready to come out of la la land and get into the real world. So we're trying to max out a lot of the leads that have already been generated through those platforms. It's very expensive to advertise that way or whatever. We're not selling pencils either, so you can have one or two deals to justify it, but we're not in the business of justifying spending. We're in the business of profiting from the spending or whatever. So we just gotta make sure we do the proper amount of follow up, but it can be very expensive.
All right. So let's see here. Guys, wow, this is
Well, we've been going an hour. We ain't got to sit here and beg.
no. I was about to close out. I was gonna say,
Hey,
a real chill night. We'll be here next
we got other
Thursday.
stuff. Hey, they got more important things to do. That's fine.
And ain't nothing more important than talking about money.
Hey, we do also. But anyway, so remember at the beginning of the show I mentioned Hi-Ho. I'm sorry. Hi-Ho, new app.
How I feel about that.
Just text me and I'll send you the link to my particular thing. You can download it or whatever. Trust me, it sounds like, and the people that pushed it to me, I'm pretty sure it's going to take off here. But it's a very unique platform, similar to Clubhouse, which I know a lot of people may not be familiar with that. But it allows you to just start conversation, whereas Clubhouse is all audio. This is video, and you're basically doing similar to that. So I may post something like
on steroids?
Say what now?
Is it like Zoom on steroids?
No. It's more like a combination of we'll say a combination of YouTube and Clubhouse. It's more like that, right? So I may post a question, say, hey, I don't know, do you have any deals in Chicago? So whatever, and so people may just start replying, or
they can reply with a video.
Yeah, they can reply with a video, and then everybody else see it, and they can reply to that video. So it's like just a
so it's not like interaction.
Yeah,
it's kind of like you say something on video, someone else say something on video.
Exactly. And then you can see all, and then you can see all of them. So,
right.
But I was impressed when I checked it out earlier today. So I posted my first couple of videos, responded to a couple of people or whatever. So most definitely Hi-Ho, H-I-H-O or whatever. So check that out. And again, remember what I said about this cryptocurrency?
Oh yeah.
You gotta start.
I think everyone should be invested in crypto in some type of way. It is the new currency, and it's going to become what it's going to become.
Oh my God!
It absolutely is.
You got to get in, please.
So,
I bought Bitcoin when it went down to 10,000 at one time. You remember a couple years ago it went up to 20,000.
Yeah,
it went down to 10.
Then
I bought it then.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Ooh. Oh, you got in then? You bought some then?
I bought some then.
Okay.
I just been holding it. I didn't even pay. When it went down so bad, I was like, oh man, I think I messed up. So I didn't even look into it again. And then now that it went back up,
Oh, so you never did sell when you bought it 10?
I never sold it. I just left it because I thought I had lost.
Well, you know
it had went down so far.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about then.
Oh, absolutely. But that was like 2018. That was like 2019, like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But it seemed like every year around Christmas or the end of the year, it does this crazy bump.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're mentioning cryptocurrency, and you mentioned a couple of altcoins as well. But maybe you should put something together that says what services use. Is it computer share? Is it E-Trade? Or what?
I use Coinbase, and Coinbase just went public, I think, yesterday.
Yeah.
It's Coinbase, Coinbase, just like it sounds, .com. Or you can download the app, and that's where I purchased Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Ethereum is the three that I'm playing with right now. So Nas, the rapper, was an early investor in Coinbase. It's reported he's made anywhere between $50 to $150 million on his initial investment back in 2013.
Wow.
Not in really the Bitcoin. I'm sure he's in Bitcoin, but he invested in the platform that the marketplace. Coinbase is a marketplace where you can trade, to buy and sell or whatever. And so, and then Kevin Durant did also in 2017. I think they say initially invested $250,000. I think that's worth between 13 and 15 million or whatever. So,
wow.
I don't know what to tell you, man. Hey, the party is here. You can get in it. You know what I'm saying? So,
one of my friends, I remember, like back in probably about 2013, 2014, I sold him a property. He was like, he was done with real estate. He was going to put it all into Bitcoin.
Oh, wow.
And that was back in the day. And I mean, the guy got like over 100 Bitcoins. And he's young. He's like 30 something years old.
Oh, wow.
Damn, I wish he would have told me and just made me do it. But he's seen it early.
Yeah.
And he said something about it, just didn't register to me.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
yeah. People that seen it early sit on a lot of money.
So, like I said, I offer my course and coaching if you're interested at a 25% discount.
Yep.
But you're gonna have to pay through the method I give you to pay, so I can convert it over into that or whatever. So, ebook, there's normally $197 with the apartments or whatever. I'll sell that to you for let me back up on that because people are gonna pay full price on that. So I gotta do something different on that or whatever. So but anyway, just hit me up. Everything's negotiable. All right. So anyway, because I can't cut off people that pay full price for it. I have to do something a little different because I want them to be getting their value. Well, you're going to get value, you may not get as much value as they got. Let me just make sure I explain it that way or whatever. So anyway, we appreciate everyone joining us tonight. Again, the number is 205-964-5243. For anything that you need, make sure you check out High Ho. Follow me there. Anything you want to share, Reniki, before we get out of here?
I don't know. See y'all next week.
All righty. Anything you want to add, AP?
Holla. See you on the flip side.
All right.
Text me and I'll text you back.
Text me, and I'll text you back.
Text me and I'll text you back.
You text me, then I'll text you back.
Text me then I'll text you back.
TikTok, you don't stop.
I will help you make your paper stack.
Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at now?
205-964-5243.